The Honorable Speaker, sir, the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Cabinet Ministers and Assistant Ministers, the Honorable Leader of the Opposition, and Honorable Members of Parliament. I rise to respond to the address delivered by His Excellency the President, Ratu Nainggolan Alam-Balawu, at the opening of the 2026-2027 session of Parliament. I begin by expressing gratitude for His Excellency's leadership and clear national direction outlined in his address, which provides an important framework for this government, particularly in advancing rural and maritime development and strengthening disaster risk management across Fiji. Honorable Speaker, sir, His Excellency reminded us that unity must translate into equitable development outcomes. This is particularly relevant when we consider that 44.1% of Fiji's population reside in the rural areas. That means nearly half of our citizens live outside major urban centers, in villages, settlement, outer islands, and interior communities. Mr. Speaker, sir, when we speak about inclusive growth, national resilience, and equitable opportunity, we are speaking about policies that must work for nearly half of our people. These statistics alone highlights why rural and maritime development cannot remain peripheral to national planning. It must be central. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency noted in his address outlines the government's legislative priorities and policy direction. In alignment with this, the Ministry of Rural and Maritime Development and Disaster Risk Management continues to prioritize policies that promote equitable and sustainable growth, resilience, and inclusion. We recognize that rural and maritime communities, often the backbone of our agriculture and marine economies, must be integrated into national development strategy if Fiji is to achieve sustainable and inclusive progress. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency the President reaffirmed the sovereignty of our people and celebrated the diversity of our nation, emphasizing unity as a shared purpose for our rural and maritime communities. This unity must translate into equal access of opportunities, essential services, infrastructure, and economic participation. Our policies are advancing this by ensuring community voices help shape decisions about their future, reinforcing the message that national development must include every Fijian, regardless of their location. Mr. Speaker, sir, in this spirit, I am delighted to inform this august House the Ministry has adopted a co-creation approach to develop Fiji's first ever National Rural Development Policy, NRDP, following a series of 8 national multi-stakeholder consultations across 4 divisions and bilateral consultation. The Ministry has been able to consult close to 1,000 rural organizations, rural stakeholders, including community representatives, civil society organizations, non-government and faith-based organizations, youth, women groups, and government agencies, to name a few. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency's reflection on the national journey and reminder that development must be fair and inclusive emphasizes that the core of our ministry's mandate, as noted by His Excellency the President, the Household Income and Expenditure Survey highlights persistent hardship among low-income families, including many in the rural and maritime areas. To address this, the Ministry is advancing systematic policy reforms that remove barriers to opportunity and ensure that rural households are not left behind. This includes a deliberate focus on infrastructure, access to market, and social support system tailored to isolated communities. Mr. Speaker, sir, in response to His Excellency's call for inclusive and evidence-based policy, I am once again delighted to inform this august House about the work spearheaded by the Ministry in leading the development of Fiji's first ever National Rural Development Policy as part of the Change Management Program. This policy represents a historic shift in how rural and maritime development is planned and implemented. It has been shaped through extensive consultation with community leaders, district and provincial officials, civil society, and development partners. The policy will strengthen rural livelihoods and reduce poverty, enhance connectivity through improved rural roads, bridges, jetties, and maritime access, support climate-smart agriculture and fisheries, improve access to affordable finance, markets for rural enterprises, and integrate disaster risk management and community resilience planning. Mr. Speaker, sir, this comprehensive framework ensures that rural and maritime development is not treated as an afterthought, but integrated into a national development planning and priority setting, fulfilling the vision articulated by His Excellency for fair and inclusive growth. Mr. Speaker, sir, I applaud the plan to review the Constitution, as this is the opportunity to address the challenges that our ministry encountered in implementing the integrated rural development framework. This review is timely for the ministry as well as we progress with the development of our national rural development policy. It is imperative that the enabling framework in the form of national legislation, including the supreme law of the land, will support rather than be a hindrance to an integrated and coordinated planning platform for our rural people. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, sir, I welcome the plan to pursue the integrated review of the Native Land Administration and the Itaukei Institution, as this will augur well and timely on the co-creation of the National Rural Development Policy. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency the President highlighted the expansion of transport, energy, and communication infrastructure over our national journey. In the rural and maritime Fiji, infrastructure remains a key enabler of economic and social well-being. Under the National Rural Development Policy and related programs, the Ministry is coordinating investments to construct and maintain rural access roads and bridges to reduce isolation, upgrade community jetties to support maritime transport and commerce, improve access to water, energy, and digital connectivity, support community-led infrastructure projects that create local jobs. These investments strengthen linkages between isolated communities and urban centers, facilitating access to healthcare, education, markets, and services. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency emphasized that unity must be concisely built through fair laws and inclusive policy. In rural and maritime development, this means embedding inclusion and gender equity throughout policy design and implementation. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministry supports targeted programs to empower women, youth, and vulnerable groups through skills training, entrepreneurship support, and access to finance, recognizing that community resilience is strengthened when all citizens can participate meaningfully in development. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency the President comment on the importance of evidence-based public discourse and responsible leadership are essential, especially as we approach an election year. The Ministry commits to contributing constructively to national dialogue, ensuring that the communication and engagement with stakeholders in rural and maritime areas are grounded in facts, respect, and shared purpose. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency noted global economic, environmental, and geopolitical challenges that test the resilience of small island developing states like Fiji. In response, our ministry prioritizes disaster risk reduction and climate resilience as integral parts of development planning. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are strengthening community awareness and preparedness, improving early warning systems, and enhancing evacuation infrastructure across coastal and inland communities. These efforts align with His Excellency's emphasis on resilience and sustainability. Mr. Speaker, sir, we work closely with the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change to support vulnerable communities requiring adaptation measures, alongside implementing the UNDP Governance for Resilience project on risk-informed development. Planned relocation of community falls within our ambit. Notably, works in Nambavatu, in Maduata, are progressing very well according to a schedule. The Ministry is also providing technical guidance to the villages of Narata in Nanrua and Vurinunrovu in Netasir in undertaking partial relocation with funding they have received from the Community Climate Adaptation Fund of the Global Center for Climate Mobility. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency the President reiterated that rural, interior and maritime areas must be brought into the mainstream of national development planning, rather than being treated as peripheral projects. The Ministry agrees wholeheartedly and has embedded this principle in the formulation of its National Rural Development Policy and related programs. Mr. Speaker, sir, our approach ensures that rural and maritime priorities are considered across sectors: economic, social, environmental, and disaster management, and that decision-making reflects the lived realities of communities outside urban centers. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency highlighted agriculture and fisheries as central to economic transformation. This aligns with the Ministry's focus on supporting climate-smart agriculture, value chain development, fisheries management, market facilitation for rural and maritime communities. These sectors are critical for food security, income generation, and resilient livelihoods. I look forward to the outcome of the feasibility study for the new shipbuilding facility. This is an infrastructure that is important to our maritime travelers and communities. We continue to buy ships from abroad to service our islands. We must not forget that there are talented people in the country who are already involved in this industry. We have seen the increasing interest in our young people and from the Pacific region to be trained and qualified mariners and seafarers from the courses offered by the National University. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency the President spoke on of the defining challenge of climate change. For our portfolios, this highlights the need to strengthen preparedness, response, and recovery system in rural and maritime areas. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are enhancing collaboration with subnational administrations and community stakeholders to ensure that early action plans, evacuation facilities, and community training are in place, ensuring that rural communities are equipped to stand and recover from disasters. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministry convened the first National Disaster Risk Management Council meeting since its enactment of the National Disaster Risk Management Act 2024. The Council deliberated and approved the following disaster risk management initiatives. 1. National Guideline for constructing and retrofitting evacuation centers. The guideline is to provide structural and humanitarian standards in evacuation centers, as these are critical facilities that will ensure the protection of evacuees during disaster. 2. In addition, the Council has approved the revised anticipatory action framework, which will provide faster and more efficient response to disaster and help affected communities to better prepare for and recover from emergencies. And finally, the Council has also approved the project of enhancing multi-hazard early warning capabilities in Fiji. It will ensure that warnings are effectively disseminated and reaches the most far and vulnerable of our communities. Mr. Speaker, sir, we've been fortunate over the last few years that the good Lord has seen fit to spare our country from major disasters. With that said, tropical cyclone Urmil has left the Western Division, reeling from impacts of heavy rainfall and flooding. And the Ministry is working closely with stakeholders to ensure that affected communities are assisted with relief and quick return to normalcy. Last week, the team was at NDO and DMO, were moving around the evacuation centers in the Western Division, delivering non-food items, and also food items will be delivered once the report by NDMO comes out. Also thank the Honorable Prime Minister, who also held a briefing with the officials in the Western Division on the update of post TC Urmil, or the flooding that were in the Western Division. Just before I move into my conclusions, just want to respond to the Honorable Pramila Kumar and some of her comments this morning. She, at her conclusion, said that the people in the rural communities, in villages, in settlement, should judge this government by its performance. We've been moving around the country, the Northern Division, Western Division, even in the Eastern Division. The support on the ground, supporting the government, has been overwhelming. And they are really happy on the development that government is bringing to them. Access road, farm road, solar freezers, and all this that have helped our rural and maritime communities. And they are really happy. Last week I was in Ngau, and they've told me, just tell our message to the Honorable Prime Minister that his government should run for another 3 terms. And they don't follow all the things that are coming out on social media posted by keyboard warriors. What they see is real action that's on ground. The assistance by the Ministry of Agriculture and all other ministries, boreholes by the Ministry of Lands, and these are the real impacts that people are feeling on the ground. And I don't know which part of the 2 group the Honorable Pramila Kumar is joining. Now we have a registered political party, which is the People's First Party, that will be led by the Honorable Leader of the Opposition. But again, she's trying to use the credits or the achievements by the previous Fiji First government to ride along on probably their campaign. But campaign is too far away. It's time for government to continue delivering the work that needs to be delivered, and people are thanking government on the service delivery that is coming to them on time. And I hope that the opposition will also join us, especially in some of the things of national interest. I thank the Honorable Leader of the Opposition this morning, who also acknowledged the process of the constitutional review. I thank the current Standing Committee on Justice, Law and Human Rights for taking around the referendum bill, and have been following some of the committee meetings. I thank the opposition members for allowing that pathway for supporting that. Mr. Speaker, sir, in conclusion, His Excellency the President's address represents a vision of a confident, inclusive and resilient Fiji. The Ministry of Rural and Maritime Development and Disaster Management stand fully committed to translating this vision into tangible outcomes. Mr. Speaker, sir, we will continue to implement inclusive policies, strengthen community resilience, support sustained economic participation, and advocate for rural and maritime priorities to be integral elements of national development. By aligning our efforts with the aspirations articulated by His Excellency, we reaffirm our commitment to leave no Fijian behind, from the highlands to the coastlines, from rural villages and settlements to our outer islands. Now, sir.
I thank the Honorable Moses Bulitau, the Minister for Rural and Maritime Development and Disaster Management, his contribution. I'll now invite our next speaker, the Minister for Finance, Commerce and Business Development, the Honorable Esrom Emmanuel, to deliver his contribution to the motion.
Thank you, Speaker, sir. Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Cabinet Ministers and Assistant Ministers, the Honorable Leader of the Opposition, and Honorable Parliamentarians, good afternoon to you all. I rise to respond to the most gracious address delivered by His Excellency, the President, at the opening of 2026 session of Parliament. I will refrain myself to comment on Honorable Premila Kumar's generalized commentaries in the morning on the economy or cost of living. However, I will try to, probably that's for another day, but what struck me was commentaries on the cost of living and referring to the Bureau of Statistics. For February CPI as an example, with 2019 as the base, all items increased from 100 to 111.7. That is from 2019. And included in that is food, which increased from 100 to 121.8 basis points. So please have the statistics before you comment on cost of living adjustment, and do a thorough analysis if you want to. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency address has set out a clear and forward-looking vision for our nation, a vision anchored in stability, resilience, and shared prosperity for all Fijians. It reminds us that while our nation has made important strides in recent years, the journey ahead will require unity, discipline, and leadership. Mr. Speaker, sir, the global environment today is far more complex and uncertain than it has been in decades. Around the world, we are witnessing rising geopolitical tensions and conflicts, including the Middle East and other regions. These developments have caused heightened uncertainty that risk global peace, energy security, and has significant implications for global prosperity and well-being. Hence, for us policymakers, particularly in small developing economies like Fiji, these shifts make economic and financial management far more challenging. The collective wisdom that we have in this Parliament and the resilience that our people have repeatedly demonstrated in times of crisis will help navigate this new challenge. Mr. Speaker, sir, as Fiji is a small and open economy, is inevitably exposed to developments in the global economy over which we have little or no control. Changes in international markets, fluctuations in commodity prices, disruptions in trade routes, and volatility in global financial and economic conditions can have immediate and significant impacts on our economy. Even with these global pressures, Fiji already faces a unique set of structural challenges as a small island development state. Our isolated location from major global market is one. Our small population limits economies of scale. This dispersion of our islands increases the cost of infrastructure and service delivery. Productivity constraints and competitiveness continue to challenge us in many sectors of our community, our economy. At the same time, we remain highly vulnerable to climate change and natural disasters. Severe economic disruptions caused by COVID-19 left Fiji with elevated levels of public debt and limited fiscal space. The emerging drugs and HIV crisis threatens the well-being and productivity of our people. Mr. Speaker, sir, the evolving global landscape only amplifies these existing challenges. The responsibility before us in this Parliament is therefore clear. We need to ensure that our policies support macroeconomic stability, strengthen resilience, support inclusive growth, and safeguard the future prosperity of our nation. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministry of Finance is closely monitoring potential economic and fiscal implications of the current global crisis on Fiji. The situation is still unfolding, and there's a lot that we do not know. While we pray for the best, we need to be prepared for the worst. All oil prices have increased significantly from around US $60 per barrel last year to approximately around US $90 per barrel today, and may go up further. Projections indicate that if the conflict continues and global oil supply disruptions intensify, prices could rise further to triple digits. This will pose significant challenges for us, the Fijian businesses, consumers, and the broader economy. We are particularly mindful of the potential impact on the tourism sector and the national carrier Fiji Airways, as rising fuel costs and weaker global demand could affect travel and tourism activity. As tourism remains a key driver of our economy, and any slowdown would have broader implications for growth, employment, and foreign exchange earnings. However, Mr. Speaker, sir, foreign reserves are the lifeline of our import-independent economy. Fiji relies heavily on imported fuel, food, pharmaceuticals, machinery, and raw materials. As we witness following the Russia-Ukraine conflict, global prices surged quickly, translated into high import bills and domestic cost pressures. Mr. Speaker, sir, we import around $1 billion of fuel annually for domestic use, and every 10% increase in price, we will lose around 100 million more in foreign reserves. Therefore, the recent fuel price surge can easily increase our fuel bill by an additional 400 to 500 million if prices don't stabilize soon. Similarly, in times of crisis, Mr. Speaker, sir, the US dollar, which is considered a safe haven currency, usually strengthens, placing additional pressure on many emerging and small economies like us. Approximately 3.6 billion, or 33% of our debt, is external debt, of which over 80% is in US currency. That said, Mr. Speaker, as I said earlier, it remains premature to draw definite conclusions. Much will depend on how geopolitical tensions evolve and how inflation trends unfold and how major central banks and governments calibrate the policy in the months ahead. Nevertheless, prudence demands preparedness. Even the anticipation of a global slowdown can influence investor confidence, also influence tourism demand, commodity markets, and capital flows. As a responsible government, we will prepare for downside risk while continuing to support domestic growth, strengthen resilience, and protect vulnerable households. Mr. Speaker, sir, Fiji's economy has demonstrated resilience in the recent past, following the fourth largest contraction during the COVID-19 pandemic. Our economy also noted one of the quickest recoveries, returning to pre-pandemic level in 3 years, on the back of the strong recovery in tourism, increased fiscal stimulus, and improved businesses and consumer confidence. In 2025, we recorded a broad-based growth of around 3.4%. As I said before, our tourism sector remains a pillar of stability. Visitor arrivals reached a record of around 986,000 in 2025, surpassing pre-pandemic level by approximately 92,000. Domestic demand has also been resilient. A buoyant labor market, steady household income growth, targeted government spending, and strong remittance inflows have supported consumption and business activity. Inward remittances rose by 1% to a record 1.4 billion in 2025, providing vital support to our families and our communities. Investment activity gained momentum as well, particularly in construction, supported by increased project commencements and some easing in building material costs. However, government must accelerate reforms to streamline processes and improve the ease of doing business to unlock the pipeline of investment. Our financial system remains sound and supportive. The banking sector has recorded improved profitability, declining non-performing loans, and strong credit growth of 10.5% as of January 2026. Interest rate remains low at around 4.5%, reflecting the accommodative stance of the Reserve Bank of Fiji, with high liquidity of around 1.9 billion as at end of February. This environment continues to provide favorable financing conditions for businesses and households alike. Mr. Speaker, sir, the economic momentum in the last 6 months following the 2025-26 budget also reflected in robust revenue performance. Tax collection exceeded projections in the first 6 months. Between August and January 2026, total collections reached approximately 1.8 billion, which is 67.5 million above forecast, representing 52.9% of total budgeted tax revenue. This performance underscores improved compliance, stronger economic activity, and enhanced revenue administration. On the external front, pressures are beginning to surface. The trade deficit widened in 2025, driven by high imports and relatively modest export growth. Consequently, the current account deficit is projected around 9.8% of GDP. Despite these pressures, foreign reserves remain stable at 3.6 billion at the end of February to cover around 5.2 months of retained imports, providing a critical buffer against external shock and reaffirming our commitment to macroeconomic stability. Mr. Speaker, sir, our initial growth projections of 3.3% for 2026 and 2027 are now subject to notable downside risk, driven by the escalating global uncertainties and emerging pressures on our tourism sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, on our fiscal performance, government's debt to GDP ratio has improved significantly from 91.8% in 2022 to around 78.9% in 2025, reflecting earlier consolidation and a stronger than expected recovery. While past revenue overperformance and modest underspending created temporary fiscal space, these gains are insufficient to offset mounting pressures in the months ahead. We will continue to shift decisively towards restoring fiscal discipline, improving expenditure efficiency, and accelerating private sector-led growth. Mr. Speaker, sir, strengthening reform momentum is not optional. It is essential. That is, rebuilding fiscal buffers, safeguarding debt, sustainability, and restoring confidence require urgent recalibration of our fiscal consolidation strategy. In the 2026-2027 medium-term fiscal strategy, we are proposing to bring the deficit back to sustainable levels and place debt on a clear downward trajectory, including increasing or maintaining the level of capital expenditures as compared to operational expenditures. With limited scope for new taxes, our consolidation effort will focus on expenditure rationalization, better targeting of subsidies, and strict prioritization of high-impact, growth-enhancing investments. Strengthen fiscal controls and improve spending quality will be critical to preserving macroeconomic stability and protecting Fiji's long-term resilience. Mr. Speaker, sir, while this government firmly believes that the private sector must be the engine of growth. And we are also aware of the real constraints that our businesses are facing. We are serious about private sector-led growth, and their challenges must be addressed decisively through regulatory clarity, improved service delivery, infrastructure upgrade, and a stable, predictable policy environment that gives businesses the confidence to invest and expand. In this regard, we have progressed on our ease of doing business processes and hope to launch the same in April next month. Mr. Speaker, sir, our commitment is still there to increase investments, including foreign direct investments from around 15% to around 18% of GDP, apart from state-owned enterprises. Mr. Speaker, sir, moving on to trade-related matter, I'm pleased to share that Fiji has completely removed from the European Union's blacklist or list of non-cooperative jurisdictions of the EU, where we were blacklisted since 2019. So our removal will deliver significant national benefits, including enhanced trade and investment flows, particularly with EU-linked counterparts, reduced compliance costs, and withholding tax rates for Fijian businesses operating internationally. It will also provide confidence amongst correspondent banks, development financing institutions, and international investors. It will also strengthen eligibility for bilateral and multilateral financial assistance, as well as technical cooperation. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to thank the hardworking officials from the Fiji Revenue and Customs Services, Ministry of Finance, Office of the Prime Minister, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and AG's office and other stakeholders working in tandem to make this happen. The focus now is on maintaining compliance, good governance, and adherence to international tax standards. Mr. Speaker, sir, our direction is clear and anchored in the new development plan, National Development Plan. Infrastructure development remains an urgent national priority through the Pacific Health Islands Transformation Project. We will receive a package of around 500 million supported by the World Bank, the Asian Development Bank, the OPEC Fund, and Pandemic Fund. That is to modernize our health system, strengthen regional care networks, and expand digital and specialized services. I'm pleased to inform the House that this financing has become effective. This is a transformational investment in the health security of our people. With the construction of the region-first radiotherapy and imaging center in Suva, and construction of a 50-bed modular block at Cedar Liam to meet the increased demand and upgrade and renovation of 17 health facilities across the country. Mr. Speaker, sir, we also acknowledge with deep appreciation the commitment of the Government of India to construct a 100-bed super specialty cardiology hospital in Fiji. Consultations have completed and preparatory works are underway. Construction is expected to commence this year. In parallel, we are advancing the development of the Colonial War Memorial Hospital through a direct funding partnership with the Government of Australia and a multilateral finances. Mr. Speaker, sir, the partnership I've highlighted shows Fiji's growing relationship and our commitment to bringing world-class healthcare closer to our people. Apart from that, Mr. Speaker, sir, one of the highlights was last week the signing of the Millennium Challenge Corporation funding grant of around 12 million with the USA Deputy Secretary of State, that is to prepare a compact for Fiji with grant funding in the range of around US 300 to 600 million dollars. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, sir, 2026-2027 budget preparation. I wish to inform the House that preparation already underway, and the call for submission, including from opposition members. So we will conduct nationwide consultations, and your submission is important. And Mr. Speaker, sir, the government reaffirms its unwavering commitment to sustainable and inclusive growth, social justice, and long-term prosperity as advocated by the President. Together, through partnership and shared purpose, we will build Fiji that is resilient, inclusive, and prosperous, not just for today, but for generations to come. Nagabag Leru, and thank you.
I thank the Honorable S. Swami Manuel, the Minister for Finance, Commerce and Business Development, for his contribution. I now invite the Honorable M. Chan for his contribution to the motion.
Honorable Speaker, sir, Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Leader of Opposition, Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, and Honorable Members of Parliament. A very good afternoon to you all. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to respond to some of the key features of the statement made by His Excellency the President of Fiji at the opening of the new session of Parliament on 16 February. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency had briefly touched on the focus and future development direction that the government will embark on or continue to pursue in this parliamentary session. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency mentioned that we need to focus on development and be people-centered. It is now more than 3 years since the coalition government took office, promising an improved quality of life for ordinary citizens, jobs, economic recovery, and good governance. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency mentioned in his opening address that the household income and expenditure survey confirms that hardship persists for many households, particularly among low-income families in the interior, rural, maritime, and also urban communities. Mr. Speaker, sir, their suffering is real. It is daily, and it is felt in every household across our nation. This government was mandated to deliver an improved quality of life, yet today we see the opposite. Mr. Speaker, sir, one of the clearest examples of policy inconsistency and poor judgment that has contributed to hardship has been the handling of value-added tax, VAT. In 2023, this coalition government increased VAT from 9% to 15% without adequate planning or proper assessment of its impact on low and middle income families. Mr. Speaker, sir, the result was immediate and severe. The cost of living surged. Food prices rose. Basic household goods became more expensive. ordinary Fijians, from farmers to factory workers, from market vendors to civil servants, felt the burden instantly. Mr. Speaker said, after the damage had already been done, government reduced VAT to 12.5% last year. But by then, the hardship had already deepened. Many families had already slipped further into poverty. Businesses had already adjusted prices upward. Confidence had already been shaken. Mr. Speaker said, this was not strategic fiscal management. This was the damage control. And now, as we approach the general election, there is a speculation that VAT may again be adjusted not out of economic principle, but out of political convenience. The people of Fiji deserve stable, well-considered policy, not trial and error taxation that punishes them first and corrects itself later. Mr. Speaker said, His Excellency, the President stated in his opening speech that government has commenced a review of the Constitution. I urge the government that amendments to the 2013 Constitution should not be rushed. It ought to be done according to the procedures set out in the Constitution itself. Mr. Speaker said, changes must be transparent and inclusive to ensure the voices of all Fijians across communities, generations, and regions are heard and respected as stated by His Excellency the President. Mr. Speaker said, when it comes to Constitution amendment, there should not be any shortcut. Any constitutional amendment must be enacted through transparent, consultative process that reflects the people's will. The review must be undertaken carefully, guided by the principles of democratic processes, good governance, and respect for the rule of law. Mr. Speaker said, constitutional governance must strengthen national unity and protect fundamental rights of the people of Fiji. At its core, this process must be defined by meaningful public participation, openness, and dialogue, not political convenience. Mr. Speaker said, His Excellency mentioned in his speech on government's commitment to improving living standards and expanding access to secure, resilient, and well-planned housing across Fiji. Mr. Speaker said, upgrading of informal settlements started in 2020 by the former government. Start was good, but unfortunately, the progress under the coalition government is very slow. And in some areas, there is no progress and residents are in limbo. Mr. Speaker said, one good example is residents living in informal settlements in Delai Saweni, Nambare, and nearby areas in Lutuka. Residents do not have any idea how long it will take, how much it will cost, and where to go to get more information on this. Mr. Speaker said, it is government's responsibility to meet the residents of informal settlements and brief them on government's plans, time frame by when the settlements would be formalized, and people should not be kept in dark. People should not be made to run in circles. Mr. Speaker said, His Excellency mentioned in his opening address that government is prioritizing the delivery of high quality, equitable, and relevant education. Mr. Speaker said, high quality education can only be delivered when schools across Fiji have the required number of teachers in classrooms. Many schools had serious staffing issues last year, and even this year when school started for the academic year. 6 weeks into the term, Ministry of Education is still struggling to resolve these issues across early childhood, primary, and also secondary schools. Mr. Speaker said, improving school education quality, it requires holistic approach, focusing on enhancing teacher training, fostering positive and safe environment, and strengthening Ministry of Education and teacher partnership. If education is a priority, then no classroom should be without teacher. It is the teacher that makes the difference, not the classroom. Teacher shortage impacts teaching and learning, and that contributes to poor exam results if teachers are not in the classroom. Mr. Speaker said, quality education can be delivered when schools have teachers, and in Fiji, schools are struggling due to shortage of teachers. The reason teachers have resigned and left for jobs abroad. Mr. Speaker said, the little pay rise for teachers is not enough to cushion the high cost of living, and many teachers are leaving for jobs abroad, particularly to Australia and New Zealand. Pay teachers well and they will not resign. Ministry of Education should come up with teacher retention strategies. Mr. Speaker said, His Excellency emphasized in his address that essential learning resources complemented by financial assistance is reducing barriers for learners, particularly in interior, rural, and maritime areas. I agree that learning resources and financial assistance can reduce barriers for learners if it is provided at the right time. Mr. Speaker said, schools depend on free education grant to buy essential learning resources for students. Grants to schools should be released on time. How can schools buy essential resources if free education grant is not released on time? Ministry of Education should ensure that proper planning is done and grants to all schools are released on time. Mr. Speaker said, as stated by His Excellency, financial assistance to students is important. This year, parents and students raised serious concerns because they did not receive their back-to-school assistance when the schools opened for term 1. Mr. Speaker said, parents and students were sent from one office to another while trying to resolve outstanding payments, creating frustration and unnecessary hardship. Mr. Speaker said, the explanation offered by Ministry of Education was that forms were not filled out correctly. This was simply a lame excuse. It is the responsibility of the Ministry of Education to ensure that application forms are properly verified in a timely and efficient manner. Administrative shortcomings should not result in penalties for parents and students. Mr. Speaker said, many families depend on this assistance to purchase essential school supplies, including bags, uniforms, and stationery. Delays place added financial pressure on households and risk negatively impacting students' academic performance. Mr. Speaker said, if the education of our children is truly a priority, these issues must be addressed urgently. The Ministry of Education must act decisively to ensure proper staffing, transparent appointment process, and ensure uninterrupted learning for students across the country. Mr. Speaker said, children are the world's most valuable resource and its best hope for the future. Children are future of our country, and we want to see all of them educated and no one is left behind. If the coalition government fails to address the issue, we will see an increase in youth on streets committing crimes. Mr. Speaker said, if the issues remain unaddressed, quality education cannot be delivered to our children. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency stated in his address on enhanced service delivery across rural communities, and focus areas will include water and transport. I totally agree that service delivery in rural and remote areas should improve. Last few weeks, some residents of Saweni, Varambatia, Lawaki Feeder Road, and Rabi were without water. Mr. Speaker, the broader concern is that this government is now in its 4th year in office, and yet we continue to see recurring water issues across many parts of the country. What the people of Fiji expect is not merely temporary measures, but a clear and sustainable long-term strategy to address water supply challenges. These ongoing complaints highlight the need for stronger planning, greater investment, and more decisive action to ensure that reliable water services are delivered to all Fijians. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency mentioned in his address that government is advancing improvements to our national road network and transport. Mr. Speaker, as a member of parliament from Lutuka, I regularly receive complaints from residents in Besese Beck Road and surrounding communities regarding the absence of reliable bus service. This has been an issue since 2023, and government has shown a blatant disregard for the poor bus service. This has left students and members of the public to scramble for whatever form of transport they can find just to get to school, work, or access basic services. Mr. Speaker, beyond the condition of our roads, coalition government should come up with innovative ideas in managing the development of our national road network. We now have citizens complaining daily about severe traffic congestion along the Suva-Nosori corridor, in Lemi, and in parts of Lautoka, Nandi, and Ba. Coalition government has presented no clear or comprehensive plan to address these growing traffic concerns. Instead of adopting a preventive and forward-looking approach to infrastructure planning, the government appears to be reacting only after problems have already reached crisis point. Mr. Speaker, what we are seeing is a government that is increasingly disconnected from the everyday struggles of ordinary Fijians at the grassroots level. Instead of addressing these pressing realities, we continue to hear grand announcements and ambitious projects that too often translate into inconvenience, frustration, and hardship for the very people they are meant to serve. Mr. Speaker, development must not exist only in speeches and reports. It must be felt in the daily lives of our people. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, the past year has highlighted the pressing challenges that our nation faces. Challenges that demand leadership with vision, courage, and the ability to deliver real solutions. Mr. Speaker, the struggles of our people, from the rising cost of living to lack of clear strategies to address economic and social issues, it cannot be ignored. Mr. Speaker, while promises have been many, solutions have been few. Yet, amid these difficulties, the resilience and strength of our people have been steadfast. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, the state of affairs under this government for approximately past 39 months has not been up to expectation. Let us remain hopeful and determined. We in the opposition, we will continue to advocate policies that prioritize our people's needs, protect the livelihood and safety of our Fijians, and build a future that leaves no one behind. Together we can create and change that our nation desperately needs. God bless Fiji and its people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for the opportunity.
I thank the Honorable Ham Chan for his contribution. Honorable members, we have 4 more speakers on our list, and I wish that we continue and complete the list at one sitting. And if that is, I don't hear any objection, we will proceed accordingly. And therefore, I will now ask the Leader of the Government in Parliament, the Honorable Rofili Pitusawau, to move a suspension motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move under Standing Order 6 that so much of Standing Order 23-1 is suspended so as to allow the House to sit beyond 4:30 p.m. today to complete the remaining items listed in today's order paper.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
Honourable Speaker, I second the motion.
Honorable Ivalu, the seconder. I will now call on the Leader of the Government to speak on his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So as you alluded to, we need to finish today's order paper with the 4 contributions. Vinaka.
Thank you. Honorable members, the floor is now open for debate on the motion, if there is any. I see none. So I presume the Honorable Leader of Government in Parliament will forfeit his opportunity to respond.
I do not have any further comments.
Thank you. So the Parliament will now vote. The question is that under Standing Order 6, that so much as Standing Order 23, Clause 1, is suspended so as to allow the House to sit beyond 4:30 p.m. today to complete the remaining items listed on today's order paper. Does any member oppose the motion? I hear none. As no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. Thank you, honorable members. We will now proceed on the next speaker on my list. Our next speaker is the Honorable Manok Kamkamida, and I invite him to deliver his statement on the motion.
The Honourable Speaker, the Honourable Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Ministers and Assistant Ministers, Members of Parliament, fellow Fijians listening through television or live streaming today, good afternoon and Nisambula Vinaka. Honourable Speaker, I rise today to lend my support to the Honourable Prime Minister's motion in thanking His Excellency, the President, for his most gracious speech. Before I do so, Honourable Speaker, I would like to pay tribute to Ratu Manasa Naisua Levu Kalauni Butia, Natauke Wuniwi, to Rangana Tuikuku, and the Wuniwalu of the Vanua of Nailongalamba, who was called to rest a month ago. Allow me to say a few words in the vernacular and then English. Paturang sa katiko ay Nailongalamba, wasa kanungan turang na Tuikuku na Wuniwalu. Kana pukundra sa kanungan turang na Prime Minister, na matinitu Dokawata, and Ileoni Vanua, yan ay song-song na People's Alliance, o sa may todo sa katiko na nema mi baka binabinak. Yan ang nomini Vito ko ni naturang na Tuikuku, may rawaki na nanganga, and a runong dulu rosang ulkarua. So sana sanga, may wakatangay na nomini tatanra, may balata na suka sa kiningele, may Nailongalam. The Turanga the Tuikuku was a strong supporter, Honourable Speaker, of the Honourable Prime Minister and myself, and was crucial in consolidating our power base in Taulevu South. The People's Alliance Party and the government is grateful for his support. We thank the Vanua of Nailongalamba, his family as well. The Turanga Tuikuku's vision, Honourable Speaker, sir, was for his people to be able to resolve the issues around Crown land reversion in his area. Honourable Speaker, we will make sure this is resolved. Secondly, Honourable Speaker, I would like to wish everyone in this august house a very merry, happy Chinese New Year. I am certain, Honourable Speaker, it is not lost on the honorable members of this House that this is our final debate of His Excellency's speech before we go to the polls. The year of the fire horse only happens once every 60 years. Once in a lifetime, Honorable Speaker, one could argue. So, Honorable Speaker, 2026 will be a special year for Fiji. The horse, not according to Nadunga, but according to the Chinese, is associated with speed, independence, and energy. When the element of fire is added, Honorable Speaker, it is regarded as double fire. Therefore, this year will be a very special year, a very fast, energy-filled year, Honorable Speaker, and a fiery year for us all. I wish us all on our final session, I wish us all good luck and best wishes in our final session in Parliament. Honorable Speaker, His excellent speech once again was filled with wisdom. It exhorts us to reflect on our past. We have risen and fallen together. We have had 4 constitutions, and yet we are still together. We have tried to build a nation of Fiji with multiculturalism at its core. His Excellency reminds us correctly that unity does not arise automatically by diversity, but must be consciously built through fair laws, inclusive policies, respectful leadership, I emphasize respectful leadership, and a shared commitment to common good. Sure, Honorable Speaker, we have had some issues on this side of the House in the last 3 years, but we have endeavored to build fair laws, Honorable Speaker, and consulting extensively where necessary. The child protection laws mooted by the Honorable Tambuya and passed in this House is a classic case in point. Getting rid of Bill 17, Honorable Speaker, the laws relating to women's use of surnames in the electoral roll, a ridiculous law, Honorable Speaker, and getting rid of MIDA once and for all. Leadership in this House has lost the arrogance, Honorable Speaker, that we saw for 8 years exhibited in this august chamber. And there is a feeling that we are all finally working together for the common good. The return of the GCC, Honorable Speaker, is a final signal of respectful leadership in this country. So, Honorable Speaker, we have been endeavoring to bring His Excellency's advice to fruition, and we all agree there is more to do this year, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I thought I would use my speech today to link key parts of His Excellency's speech to what has been done by this government. I will speak specifically about private sector-led growth, economic diversification, and digital transformation and communication. And if I have time, Honorable Speaker, I will address some of the hot air that's been emanating from that side of the House. In terms of private sector-led growth and economic diversification, I have to say, Honorable Speaker, this government has done well. Despite the headwinds that have been noted over the course of the 3 years, the Ukraine war and challenges at home, our economy has been resilient and buoyant. GDP has been maintained at historic averages of 3% or higher. Liquidity remains high, which helps the cost of borrowing, and our foreign reserves are stable. The investment pipeline has now reached 7 billion and continued to grow in positive momentum. The Access to Finance Bill, the Access to Business Funding Act, the development of MSME funding packages and assistance by commercial banks such as BSP, HFC, FDB, and recently Bradbank, and also RBF is assisting in developing or growing the economy. The increased support of MSMEs and cooperatives across the government ministries is laying a solid foundation to a key part of Fiji's economy. More importantly, Honorable Speaker, there is also a focus on the Tauke economy. with FHL, Merchant Finance, the Tauke Trust Fund, and ITLTB providing good grants and financing packages as appropriate. Collaboration with the private sector, Honorable Speaker, has been progressing well. An MSME strategic plan was launched late last year to drive the MSME and cooperative sectors. Honorable Speaker, in my view, the cooperative movement is the key to unlocking the rural economy of Fiji. As we speak, economic diversification of Fiji is genuinely happening. In ICT, Google is investing in 4 subsea cables in Fiji, and Starlink will start opening up remote areas of Fiji. 120 villages are about to receive Starlink connections very soon and will grow to around 300 villages, Honorable Speaker. The BPO sector is booming, with over 8,000 jobs created so far and equating to over 300 million in foreign exchange. At least 6 new BPO operators have already started operating in Fiji since our taking over of government. The $400 million Linders Business Park is about to begin construction, and on completion, there will be an expectation that about 15,000 jobs will be created from this singular investment. In commercial agriculture, Fiji Water has begun citrus production in Vonoleu, and we look at mangoes and pawpaw as well. Aitken Spence is about to start in Fiji, looking at pineapples, banana, and even strawberries up in Andaribatu. A few companies are producing vegetables at scale now, which will help import replacement of vegetables on our shelves and also in hotels, hopefully. And export of pineapples to New Zealand just started recently. Goodman Fielder and Rooster are looking at developing local feed for its poultry business, which translates to about 18 million in import replacement. It is likely to reduce the cost of feed for poultry, Honorable Speaker, significantly, and ultimately transfer to the price of chicken. A cover bill is now being enacted to boost the potential billion-dollar industry and will be brought to the House soon. I hope the medicinal cannabis bill will follow soon after. A company called Owner Coffee is working with other coffee players in Fiji to market Fiji as a specialty coffee destination. They are already looking at setting up in Ra. And a 300-acre cocoa farm is being set up in Reketi. In terms of aquaculture, Honorable Speaker, there is a possibility to kickstart a genuine prawn industry in Fiji. The import replacement potential is around Fiji 21 million. High-level discussions have now begun with FDB and FHL. We have the local expertise, Honorable Speaker, and ultimately, we can not only look at import replacement, but also exports. Honorable Speaker, we are also closely watching the developments in terms of the East New Britain Initiative, which hopes to create a tuna industry for the Pacific. There are development partners lined up, and I'm sure this will progress in the next few years. And of course, oyster production, Honorable Speaker, is being fine-tuned in Sabu, and I'm confident that soon some of these oysters may find its way to our hotels and discerning palates offshore. Tilapia farming and half-pearl production are some of the other areas of opportunity. Nama Fiji is opening up opportunities in terms of seaweed cosmetics. Aquaculture, Honorable Speaker, is a global billion-dollar industry, and Fiji has the opportunity to realize some of the opportunities that I've mentioned. After all, Honorable Speaker, we are 99% water. In forestry, the mahogany bill is about to be tabled for passing soon, Honorable Speaker, and I hope that we can finally unlock the $100 million industry in Fiji and provide, more importantly, a measure of economic justice to the landowners of the mahogany forest who have suffered under the previous regime. Aga wood, bamboo, sandalwood are also very interesting market opportunities that are currently being pursued. Honorable Speaker, even in tourism, our powerhouse, diversification also continues. The Sofitel Watutale Resort the Sofitel Watutale high-end resort and the Kurzna Nadulu one and only resort in Essawa will commence Fiji's foray into ultra high-end luxury to Fiji. Construction of the Nadula development is imminent. Honorable Speaker, as you can see, we have not been messing around. A lot of work has been done to genuinely build a diversified economy here at home and, of course, work closely with the private sector. I will now touch on digital transformation and communication. Honorable Speaker, I fully support the words of His Excellency stating that digital transformation is the foundation for resilient and sustainable growth. In Fiji, one of the key issues facing the private sector and our citizens is the need to greatly enhance or resolve the challenges with ease of doing business, which really will result in eliminating red tape, making approval processes efficient and transparent, and also making things more pleasant as well. This government has taken genuine steps to address these issues, but we all agree more needs to be done. Initiatives such as the starting a business process, SABS, and building permit approval processes are a harbinger, Honorable Speaker, of things to come. The National Digital Strategy, which was launched last year, will now create a pathway for genuine digitization across all government ministries and processes. A national ID will be introduced, at least in the next 12 months, and will set the platform for a greater and better ease of doing business environment. And in the meantime, some agencies such as LTA have embarked on their digital journey, and the results are impressive. This is where the country is headed, Honorable Speaker. The National Digital Strategy will also look at reforming laws such as the Telecommunications Act, introducing laws relating to data protection, laws that can manage Facebook access, and misinformation and disinformation. I am certain, Honorable Speaker, this will address some of His Excellency's concerns about freedom of expression and the fact that with freedom of speech comes grave responsibility. Honorable Speaker, finally, before I resume my seat, one of the reasons I'm excited about 2026 this year is the fact that we will decide on a new constitution for Fiji. And we will have a major opportunity to unite this country, Honorable Speaker. The 2013 Constitution has many flaws. His Excellency talked about a document that reflects the aspirations, values, and lived realities of all Fijians. I repeat, all Fijians. Some say we need a lot of time. I say we don't need too much time. 6 to 8 months will be enough, Honorable Speaker. Why? We have seen the limitations and challenges of this Constitution for the last 11 years and know exactly what needs to be changed. The areas of common concern are many. The areas of contention are very few. We just need, Honorable Speaker, to work together. And it is therefore my hope and prayer that this House works collectively together for the sake of the people of Fiji to fashion a constitution that takes us forward as one country united under God. Honorable Speaker, before I close, maybe be allowed just to address some of the hot air that was emanating from the other side of the House. Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Kumar talked about crowding out. And crowding out means is where government borrowing limits the amount of borrowing that the private sector can do. Honorable Speaker, at the moment, liquidity in our country is $2 billion. So there is no crowding out. I'm not sure what sort of facts Honorable Kumar was using when she said they was crowding out. And on top of that, Honorable Speaker, because of the liquidity being high, the cost of borrowing remains low. And that's because of the good management on this side of the House, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in terms of cost of living, I'm not sure where the other side of the House was when the Honorable Biman Prasad actually announced the budget of that year to the House. If we all remember vividly, Honorable Speaker, much of the money that was gained through revenue, Honorable Speaker, went straight back out to the people of Fiji in terms of increased funding for ministries, in cost of the back to school 40 million, bus fare, social welfare adjustments, etc., Honorable Speaker. And finally, on inflation, Honorable Speaker, I'm not sure where she got her facts from, but on inflation at the moment, Honorable Speaker, is well contained. And finally, I'd like to address a point by the Honorable Leader of the Opposition on HIV and AIDS and the drug issue. My question is, what did the previous side of the House do before we came into office, Honorable Speaker? I'll ask that question again. What did the other side of the House do before we came into office, Honorable Speaker? Honorable Speaker, in closing, I hope in my speech I've reflected what this government has been doing in 3 specific areas as mentioned in His Excellency's speech. I can assure you, sir, that each minister in this House can similarly talk about what they have been doing and the major work that has been achieved over the last 3 years. Economic diversification is real. Private sector collaboration has been genuine and real. And the digital transformation pathway that is ahead of us is not only real, but will transform Fiji. It has been an honor to serve the people of Fiji over the last 3 years, Honorable Speaker, but there is still much to do. And I'm sure that all of us will probably be thinking of returning next year to continue the good work that we have been doing in rebuilding this wonderful country. With a constitutional reset on the horizon, Honorable Speaker, I am optimistic about Fiji's future and fully support His Excellency's most gracious speech. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I thank the Honorable Manoa Kamikamiva for his contribution to the motion. I now invite the Honorable Sanjay Kirpal to deliver his contribution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise today with humility and gratitude to offer a response and deliver my right of reply in this august House to the esteemed address delivered by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Fiji Island. Greeting and a very good afternoon to each and every one of you present here today, at home, and those listening and watching via other media. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am deeply saddened by the recent killing of late Constable Penyasi Radhangi that has shaken our community and reminded us of the fragile nature of peace and human life. Such acts of violence not only take our innocent lives, but also have families grieving, communities fearful, and society searching for answers. Today, I remember the victim and extend my deepest condolence to the family and loved ones who are enduring unimaginable pain. May Almighty God bless his soul. Mr. Speaker, I would like to congratulate the Fiji Sevens team at Vancouver Sevens, though they lost in the semi-final. Failure is not the end. It's the start of your comeback. Safety and security. Mr. Speaker, the safety and security of our people is the most solemn responsibility of any government. In recent years, many Fijians have voiced concern about growing presence of illegal drugs in communities. Under the current coalition government, some Fijians feel that the country is facing a serious challenge with drug trafficking and substance abuse. Communities that were once known for strong cultural values and close family ties are increasingly worried about the social consequences of drugs, can weaken social structures, create crimes, and put pressure on already struggling families. For indigenous Fijians, these concerns are often tied to the protection of culture, land, and traditional ways of life. Community leaders frequently emphasize that if drug use continues to rise, it would harm the well-being of future generations. Many fear that addiction, crime, and loss of direction among youth could slowly erode the cultural identity and stability of indigenous community. Elders often stress that protecting culture requires strong leadership, effective law enforcement, and community-based solutions. Stronger border control, better policing, and improved education about drug dangers are often suggested as key steps together with community leaders, supporting youth, strengthening cultural values, and encouraging healthy lifestyles. If these efforts work together, many believe Fiji can protect its people and ensure a safer future for the next generation. Agricultural diversity and strengthening agriculture sector. Mr. Speaker, Fiji is a country with rich natural resources, fertile land, and a suitable climate for agriculture. With these advantages, Fiji has the potential to become self-sufficient in food production. For agriculture to grow, there must be a fair system that benefits both farmers and landowners. Providing long-term lease allows farmers to access loans and invest in improving their farms, which increases food production. At the same time, native owners should be paid a fair market rental for the use of their land. This ensures that landowners receive proper benefits while farmers have security. They need to develop agricultural land, which will strengthen the agriculture sector and supports national food security. The Ethiopia Land Trust Board should mediate and facilitate discussions between landowners and farmers to ensure fair agreements and long-term cooperation. Mr. Speaker, the government should provide incentives to farmers by giving them proper infrastructure. Example, the people of Valley Road, Nabitu and around area known as Salad Bowl of Fiji, if they stop farming, Vetilebu will have a shortage of vegetables and the price will increase by 400 to 500%. The coalition government should look into the road condition of Kabalangasau and Nambitu, which are at the worst condition and most of the time, and should be tahsil, because majority of the vegetables are coming from Valley Road, Nambitu, and those areas. The government should give incentives to farmers for agriculture diversity, where farmers can start with variety of crops, livestock, and farming systems. Mr. Speaker, Fiji ambassadors should be proactive in finding new markets for our agricultural products rather than just enjoying abroad, as some of ambassadors seem to be cronies of the present coalition government without much knowledge and experience. I think we should not forget COVID pandemic, Mr. Speaker. What happened?
I think we have to withdraw that comment you just made there. It's quite facetious. I don't think you have any proof whatsoever that our ambassadors abroad are not doing anything. Do you?
Okay, Mr. Speaker, I will withdraw.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, Fiji's infrastructure is in pathetic condition with very little improvement or new development with these coalition partners. So far, we have seen the projects of previous government being cheered by this present government. People of this nation are frustrated because government often says there is no money. Yet operating expenses continues to rise while capital investments decline. Mr. Speaker, say under the current government, the operating expense to capital expense ratio is around 74 to 26% from 2023 to 2025, while during previous government, the ratio was around 32.3% to 67.7% from 2017 to 2022. Mr. Speaker, say it simply means that more infrastructure work such as bridges, roads, power supply, telecommunication and others were carried out during previous government era. Changing the name of a ministry does not automatically increase its capacity of effectiveness. What really matters is resource planning, action, and a visionary leadership. Land development and resources. Mr. Speaker said, land development and management of our natural resources are an issue of great importance to our nation. Mr. Speaker said, land is one of our most valuable assets. It sustains our communities, supports agriculture, encourages investments, and provides opportunities. If managed wisely, land development can create employment, improve infrastructure, and raise the standard of living for our people. However, development must be balanced with responsibility. Our natural resources, our forests, rivers, oceans, and fertile land must be protected and used sustainably. Short-term gain should never come at the cost of long-term environmental damage or the loss of resources for future generations. Mr. Speaker, sir, the actions of Lands Department in leasing Green Reserve area is an example of decision that raise serious concerns about how our land resources are being exploited. Greenland Reserve with creek crossing near the Suba Moto Inn has been fenced and it seems a development will be taking place soon. Furthermore, a road reserve as per scheme plan, but on survey plan SO 3699, lot 19, it mentioned as state land without title has been leased, which used to save easement to the Tiri land at the rear, where our residents of that area used to use that access to catch crabs. Mr. Speaker, I would request the Minister for Lands to look into it, as it seems people are taking advantage of errors on plan. Mr. Speaker, we are seeing developments taking place without properly fulfilling the requirements of the town and country planning regulations. This requirement exists for a reason, to ensure that developments are safe, properly planned, and environmentally responsible and in the best interest of the public. I would like to thank Minister for Local Government for a recent outburst that all conditions of development have to be met. Thank you, Minister. Furthermore, I am also thankful to the Minister for his recent involvement at the Tanwa Hotel stormwater, which was affecting some residents of Lenga Lenga Nendi, and that area has a drainage problem. And I look forward for a thorough investigation by the ministry, as it seems that Nendi Town Council were reluctant to address the issue. Mr. Speaker, delaying consent by the Ministry of Land is an ongoing issue. Some cases, its turnaround time is more than 6 months, and at times documents get misplaced. People are frustrated and lose interest, and it is also delays the timely investment. Some consents seem to be deliberately delayed. Mr. Speaker, civil servants should be reminded at all times that they are working for the public and they should serve them with respect, dignity, and with responsibility. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency the President has spoken many times in his speech of integrity and the good governance. Mr. Speaker, recently Minister for Lands has echoed of fossil fuel, oil exploration, which is in the Black-Water Basin of Fiji. It will be prohibitively expensive due to deep water offshore challenges and complex geological structures. Some of the factors driving high potential extraction costs in that area are deep water and offshore challenges, small market scales, geological complexity, and environmental protection. It is somewhat a false hope for our Fijian people. And rather than spending funds to these areas, it's better to utilize the same to improve other sectors of our natural resources and development of indigenous land in terms of better road, water supply, EFL, power supply, and more importantly, in agriculture sector. Mr. Speaker said, His Excellency has said in his speech that the majority of land is collectively owned by Vanua and significant areas remain underutilized. Hence, the government should focus on those areas. And Mr. Speaker said, before I proceed further, I would like to request the Minister for Lands to look into the GIS Vanua view, which is not operational since starting of February and is hindering the daily routine work of valuers, real estate, housing, and most of the government departments. We have called many times, but there is no fruitful solution. Looking forward for a speedy action, and I hope Minister is aware of it. Sugar industry. Mr. Speaker said, farmers can survive and strengthen the sugar industry if they are supported to diversify through intercropping. Sugarcane farmers should not depend on a single crop alone. By planting short-term crops, farmers can earn additional income while waiting for the cane harvest. Mr. Speaker said, farmers continue to face serious challenges that threaten the sustainability of the sector. Some of the major difficulties is the shortage of labor during harvesting, high cost of labor, transportation cost, which delays farm operations and reduces productivity. If we truly want to revive the sugar industry, government should address labor shortages and improve transportation support, which the government has been doing for transportation, so that farmers can continue to sustain this important industry. Another factor which government should look into is regular breakdown of mills, which are a major concern. Rekereki mill was supposed to be constructed as per the promise by Honorable G.S. Singh, but nothing eventuated in 3 years, and he was later removed from the ministry. So he's not there. Review and Constitution and Elections. Review of Constitution and Elections. Mr. Speaker said, the government has not yet publicly set out a detailed list of specific constitutional changes it wants to make. Mr. Speaker said, 2013 Constitution gives Itoki landowners the guaranteed protection to their land, ensuring it remains under communal ownership and cannot be sold out to non-Itoki. Section 28 of the 2013 Constitution. However, under 1997 Constitution, there were no such provisions, and Itoki Land Trust Act Cap 134, Section 6 had the provision to transfer native land to state, and that section of Itoki Land Trust Act was used to betray the indigenous landowners. Mr. Speaker said, why I'm saying that is because land is very close to their heart in Vanua. Mr. Speaker said, as election is looming, we should not make false promises to our people. We must speak frankly about the issues in upcoming elections. Time and again, the people of Fiji have been promised of jobs, better services, and improved livelihoods, only to show little or no action after the vote. Mr. Speaker said, this undermines public trust, weakens democracy, and leaves ordinary citizens disillusioned. Mr. Speaker said, as an independent opposition MP, I call on all the political leaders to be honest and transparent with the people. Campaign pledges must be realistic, achievable, and backed by clear plans so that voters can hold their leaders accountable. For example, not like one of the politicians was harping about reducing tax and VAT on lamb chops, lamb shanks, lamb neck, but after in government, nothing happened. These people deserve truth, not empty promises, Mr. Speaker said. Mr. Speaker said, I end with a quote of our great leader, late Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and he said, and I quote, democracy thrives when leaders listen more than they speak and place the nation's interest above personal ambition or political advantages, unquote. Mr. Speaker said, Fiji needs a leader who knows what's happening and is aware of their government's daily business and operations. Mr. Speaker, sir, Fiji needs a decisive and visionary leader who puts his nation and Fijians first. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish my Muslim brothers and sisters a blessed Ramadan. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and God bless our Fiji.
I thank the Honorable Sanjay Kirpal for his contribution to the motion. I now invite the Minister for Women, Children and Social Protection, the Honorable Sashi Kiran, for her contribution.
Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Prime Minister, Ministers, Assistant Ministers, the Honorable Leader of Opposition and Honorable Members of the Parliament. Our viewers joining us in the gallery and on live stream, Ni Sambula Vinakasaka, Namaste and a very good afternoon to you all. I rise today in full support of the vision set out by His Excellency, the President, in his opening address of Parliament 2026. His Excellency reminded us that the true strength of Fiji is not measured merely in economic indicators or infrastructure projects, but in our unity, our compassion, and our collective resolve to protect every Fijian, especially the most vulnerable among us. Before I proceed further, Mr. Speaker, please allow me to acknowledge the women of Fiji. To the women of Fiji, we see you, we hear you, and we stand with you. Equality must not remain a promise, it must become your lived reality. To the women who've gone before us, to those in our homes, in our communities, and in this august house, to those who are struggling in silence, those who lead with courage, those who pave the way for the others, and those who work quietly so others may succeed, I say a happy International Women's Day. And to the men who stand beside our mothers, sisters, daughters, aunts, and nieces, thank you. If we are to mend our Fiji, we must journey together. For if we journey together, we will journey far. Mr. Speaker, I echo His Excellency's heartfelt appreciation to our faith leaders. Their partnership with law enforcement and community authorities in confronting illicit drugs is not only commendable, it is essential. At a time when drugs threaten our youth and undermine the very fabric of our society, strengthening of our families and community solidarity are among our most powerful defense. Mr. Speaker, our government is very focused on targeted alleviation of poverty. And after Cabinet's endorsement, our ministry has been undertaking a review of the 1999 Fiji Poverty Alleviation and Eradication Strategy Framework. We have completed consultations and now are developing framework that will guide poverty alleviation efforts through to 2030. This framework is not simply a policy document, it is a national commitment. It will ensure that our programs are efficient, targeted, evidence-based, and sustainable. Its broader goals are clear, that people are experiencing poverty have equitable access to opportunities and essential services across all the government agencies, that they are enabled to participate fully in society, that they develop the capabilities needed to improve their well-being sustainably. Mr. Speaker, our coalition government remains steadfast in strengthening Fiji's social protection systems through our national commitment to gender equality, inclusion, and dignity for all. Mr. Speaker, as of December 2025, more than 108,000 Fijians receive assistance through our 4 major social protection programs. 46,000 benefit from mobility assistance and 22,000 receive transport support. These are not just numbers. They represent families who can put food on the table, elderly citizens who can access care, and children who can go to school with dignity. In line with His Excellency's call for a more responsive and inclusive system, the Ministry is undertaking ambitious reforms. Guided by the 2021 Social Assistance Policy, we are rolling out a new social protection management information system and in the process of finalizing our integrated beneficiary management system. These digital reforms will streamline operations, strengthen accountability, reduce duplication, and improve service delivery. We are updating the proxy means test model for the Family Assistance Scheme using the latest household expenditure data to ensure fairness and accuracy. We are strengthening monitoring and evaluation frameworks so that every dollar spent delivers measurable impact. Mr. Speaker, social protection must not trap people into dependency. It must open doors to independence. We have started to pilot economic inclusion programs for our social protection beneficiaries. 99 beneficiaries have completed Start Your Own Business training in collaboration with the Ministry of Commerce. 160 recipients have received seed grants to establish income generation programs, from poultry farming, fishing, to tailoring, catering, and handicrafts. Skills training partnerships with FNU, Fiji National University, and Flour Mills of Fiji have equipped beneficiaries with sewing and baking skills. We are now working with more families, from poverty to productivity, from dependence to dignity. Mr. Speaker, when a nation empowers its women, it secures its own future and prosperity. In 2026, our national priority is the implementation of the Women's Economic Empowerment National Action Plan 2025 to 2030. We have set bold national targets, increasing women's labor force participation to 60% by 2030, expanding women-owned MSMEs to 50% by 2029. These are not symbolic targets, they are transformative commitments. It's a shift away from tokenistic short-term or symbolic gestures towards structural, long-term investments in gender equality. We are shifting our focus from just awareness to market-driven, measurable, results-oriented interventions. And our priorities include expanding digital inclusion for rural women, ensuring geography does not determine their destiny, strengthening product development and market readiness for women artisans, revitalizing women's market platforms, and help set up centralized markets for rural women's products so they have an easy access to market and they can get cash readily. To work with Ministry of Agriculture to support the National Women's Agriculture Symposium, recognizing women as central to food security and primary industries, establishing structured mentorship programs for women-led businesses, and strengthening women's leadership pathways within the civil service. But empowerment is not only economic, Mr. Speaker, it is also about safety, justice, and dignity. We have launched shelter guidelines for gender-based violence-safe homes, progressed the National Action Plan to prevent violence against women and girls, and completed our 6th CEDAW reporting cycle. Survivors must receive timely, compassionate, and effective support. Justice must be delivered, because if justice is delayed, it's justice denied. And for this reason, service delivery protocol across all agencies have been reviewed to ensure support and justice is delivered on time. Gender equality is not a women's issue. It is a national development imperative. Through gender transformative institutional capacity development, this government is working to integrate women's needs into policies and budgets across 14 government agencies. Mr. Speaker, the rise in substance abuse among our youth demands urgent and unified action. Recent child-focused policies, including the Child Justice Act, Child Care and Protection Act 2024, and Fiji's Health Promoting Schools and School Health Policy 2024 to 2029, creates opportunities to address the impact of the drugs crisis on children and adolescents within existing government framework. We are establishing child well-being and a recovery center to help rehabilitate and reintegrate our children who are on the streets and struggling with drug addiction. We are also establishing a national alcohol and other drugs rehab center for girls in partnership with Empower Pacific. But rehabilitation is not enough. We must prevent, intervene early, and support integration. Support reintegration. We need to ensure we are providing wraparound services for children exposed to drugs, delivering case management to make sure their complex needs are handled in a comprehensive way. In partnership with UNICEF Pacific and Government of Japan, we are embarking on a project for prevention measures against drug use among children and youth. This 4-year project will support national systems, strengthen community resilience, and ensure holistic services across our ministries are available for children and adolescents to remain healthy, safe from drugs, and thriving. Importantly, it will involve linking with civil society and faith-based organizations who have a key role to play and have already offered their services. We are working with our partners on developing a national action plan to prevent all forms of violence against our children. This initiative reflects our urgent commitment to safeguarding every child, recognizing that their safety is a non-negotiable foundation for our nation's future. Mr. Speaker, dignity must extend to every stage of life and ability. The revised Fiji Disability Policy 2025 to 2035 marks a decisive shift from recognizing rights to realizing them. It prioritizes accountability, accessibility, inclusive education, rehabilitation, economic empowerment, and protection for persons with psychosocial and intellectual disabilities. For older persons, recent data shows an alarming rise in psychological and financial exploitation. Mr. Speaker, we are working on strengthening protections for older persons, are in the process of reviewing the national aging policy that expired more than a decade ago, to ensure that our elders who built this nation live in security and respect. We are working with Ministry of Housing and Heart Homes to ensure we have additional aged care facilities to take care of our older persons in need within this financial year, while we scope to upgrade and develop aged care facilities in Suva and in Lautoka. His Excellency has asked us to all to recommit ourselves to the spirit of nationhood, not only on Fiji Day, but every day acknowledging unity in diversity. As a nation, we've had many traumatic events and carry many wounds, Mr. Speaker. We need to heal these wounds if we wish to build nationhood. As Nelson Mandela said in his autobiography, A Long Walk to Freedom, and I quote, "Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies," unquote. We have to collectively take responsibility. Take the time to reflect and heal in order not to pass our trauma to future generations. Fiji Truth and Reconciliation Commission creates this platform, and His Excellency has urged us all to make use of this platform so we can collectively, genuinely move the nation forward. Let us celebrate our diversity by respecting different traditions and engaging in cross-cultural events, fostering deeper mutual understanding within our communities. This month is very special indeed. It is Chinese New Year, and happy Chinese New Year to our Chinese brothers and sisters. This month is considered holy in most of our tradition, and I wish Ramadan Mubarak to our Muslim brothers and sisters, Holi ki Shubhkamnaएं to our Hindu brothers and sisters, and wish our Christian brothers and sisters a meaningful Lent season. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, His Excellency has set a clear and principled direction for our nation, one grounded in unity, compassion, and shared responsibility. Our work reflects his vision across poverty reduction, women's empowerment, child protection, disability inclusion, and support for older persons. And the coalition government is committed to delivering for the most vulnerable. To this House, let us rise above division where it matters the most. The vulnerable do not ask which side of the aisle we sit on. They ask only whether we will stand for them. Our direction is firm, our commitment is unwavering, and our work continues. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and may God bless Fiji. Naka.
I thank the Minister for Women, Children and Social Protection, the Honorable Shashi Kiran, for her contribution. The last batsman for today is the Honorable Corey Labsau. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Leader of the Opposition, Cabinet Ministers and Members of Parliament, and most importantly, the people of Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, I join others who have spoken before me to thank His Excellency the President for his most gracious speech in the opening of the 2026 session of Parliament. Honorable Speaker, sir, I summarize His Excellency's speech outlining today's pivotal juncture of our nation, a moment that demands not merely reflection, but a radical renewal of our civic duties. In his address, His Excellency spoke with great emphasis regarding the 152 years of our journey since the deed of cession. For many, that number is a point of pride, a milestone of history. But if we are honest, those 152 years has also been a lifespan of colonial hangover that runs so deep in my generation that it has become a poison and a self-built prison. Mr. Speaker, sir, even today in 2026, I see a desperate desire by some to push this nation back to a subservient position to act as if we are still subjects waiting for permission to progress. We have endured hardships of independence. We have bled, sweated, sacrificed to become a sovereign nation. Why is it that some of us still crave the cold comfort of change of a colonial mindset? Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency asked us to pause and reflect that we may draw wisdom from our past and gain clarity for our future directions. Clarity requires us to admit that we are still haunted by the ghost of 1874. We speak of sovereignty, yet we act with the hesitation of the colonized. This, Mr. Speaker, sir, is the reflective pause. His Excellency, the President called for an honest evaluation of whether we are truly free in our minds, or if we are merely administrators of a legacy that was never meant for our prosperity. His Excellency highlighted the pending constitutional review. We need to ensure transparency over ambiguity in this exercise. The Speaker, Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency confirmed that the coalition government commenced a review of the 2013 Constitution, promising a robust public debate on the amendment bill. Mr. Speaker, sir, I must remind Parliament that we have stood on this ground before. Last year, during the debate of the failed Constitution Amendment Bill, the opposition asked the same fundamental question, and we ask again today, what exactly do you want to change, and why? Mr. Speaker, sir, transparency is not a buzzword to be used in a speech and discarded in committee rooms. It is the lifeblood of a democracy. If a change is truly for the betterment of the nation, if it strengthens the right of our people and the stability of our democracy, we will support it. But if these changes are designed to benefit a few, to consolidate power, or to create legal loopholes for political convenience, then our answer is a resounding no. Mr. Speaker, sir, we must put our people first. We demand a process that is not rushed. We need robust consultation that goes beyond a town hall meeting in Suva. We need our people in the Maritime Islands and rural highlands to understand how the fundamental law is being altered. Mr. Speaker, sir, if the government is sincere about rehabilitating public confidence, as His Excellency the President suggested, then let's start putting all the cards on the table. Show us the draft. Tell us the why. Anything less is just more of the same colonial style of governance where the few decided for the many. We speak, sir, we must look at dismantling the colonial fiction of incapacity. For 152 years, our resources have been taken. For 152 years, Itoke resource holders have been told they are not capable. They don't know how to commercialize their own land or manage their own wealth. We have been treated as spectators on our own soil, watching the machinery of global commerce turn, while we are left with the crumbs of least interest. This is a colonial fiction. Mr. Speaker, sir, as has been noted in Parliament, the land may be ours in name, but not in law, not in use, and not in truth. We are resource owners who lack the financial benefit of the very resource we perceive to own. Look at the institutional barriers. We are trapped by the frameworks where entry bars are set so high
demanding tens of millions in capital, the Itoke interests automatically sidelined in favor of the multinational corporations. This is the true cost of being mismeasured. We must stop these sideliners in our own development. Mr. Speaker, sir, we must break the myth of sentimental value against economic sovereignty. It is time to open our eyes to the corporatization of our land. For too long, we have been anchored by the narrative that sentimental value is enough. We are told that our land is sacred. Yes, it is. But sentimental value has been weaponized against us to justify stagnation. Let me be blunt, Mr. Speaker, sir. Sentimental value alone is worthless. It does not put money in the pockets of landowners. It does not create jobs for our young people. It does not generate the income our family needs to improve their standard of living. Mr. Speaker, sir, when we allow land to sit idle under the guise of protection, we are not protecting our heritage. We are presiding over our own poverty. Land that sits idle serves no one but the ghosts of our ancestors. Our ancestors were navigators, builders, and innovators. To honor them, the land must work for us. It must become an active asset that lifts our people, strengthens our communities, and creates real economic power for landowning units. Excuse me. We must move beyond the role of passive landlord waiting for a pittance of a rent. Mr. Speaker, sir, a lease that is not renewed out of a spite of refusal to engage with the modern world is a wasted opportunity. It is an act of economic self-sabotage. We need commercialization through partnership, where the landowning units are not just landowners but corporate partners to grow and see the direct dividends of development. If we do not corporatize our approach, we will remain resource-rich and cash-poor for another century. We look at the communal corporatization. This is the blueprint for success. Mr. Speaker, sir, the path forward is communal corporatization and partnerships. I have already stated in Parliament during my end of the week statement, we must establish Matangali, Nebusa, and Tikina Trust with clearly defined corporate arms. This is the only way to separate our sacred obligations from our business operations. When we mix the two, we fail at both. Our communal trusts should be the guardians of our culture, our mana, and our welfare. But our corporate arms must be efficient engines of growth. This dual structure allows us to participate in global economy without losing our soul. Mr. Speaker, sir, we see hundreds of millions flowing in from land leases and royalties. Yet, only 5% of that income is directed towards savings or investment. This is not a shortage of resources. It is a shortage of strategic management. We must shift our mindset. Long-term prosperity cannot continue to be traded away with short-term consumption. To unlock real value, we must be open to international public-private partnerships. Mr. Speaker, sir, our people are ready to work, but we must work as owners, not as subjects, not as passengers, but as partners with a stake in that outcome. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency brought a modern and chilling warning to Parliament regarding the misuse of artificial intelligence. He warned that AI could have a detrimental effect on governance, national unity, and peace. We must be alert to the emerging threats of AI and the digital election battlefield. Mr. Speaker, sir, as we head into an election year, this threat is not theoretical. We are entering a period where truth can be manufactured. some of those who will use AI and digital misinformation to win at any cost. They will create deepfakes to smear opponents and attempt to spread lies in our vernacular language to incite fear. Mr. Speaker, sir, while freedom of expression is a cornerstone of democracy, His Excellency the President noted that it carries a grave responsibility. We must be vigilant for those who seek to hijack the minds of our voters through digital deception. If we allow our elections to be decided by algorithms of hate, we are not sovereign people. We are a manipulated people. If we must protect the integrity of the 2026-2027 elections from this new digital colonization. Mr. Speaker, sir, an investor wants to know the bottom line, and the bottom line for Fiji is stability. You cannot have stability if your democratic process is being poisoned by digital lies. This brings me to the warning against fear and division. His Excellency the President has warned us against sowing seeds of fear and division as the election approaches. He reminded us that unity doesn't happen automatically. It must be consciously built through fair laws and inclusive policies. Mr. Speaker, sir, the cruelest part of our 152-year history has been the calculated division sowed between us Itoke and our brothers and sisters of Indian descent. This hatred was not born here. It was imported to keep us weak. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to speak directly to those who cling to this ethno-nationalistic poison. Look what your division has brought us. Has it brought prosperity to the Itoke? No. It has brought us decades of lost time. Mr. Speaker, sir, it's a shame upon those who claim to be Christians on Sunday, but spend the rest of the week spreading the rot of ethnic hatred. How can you profess the love of Christ while your heart is a vessel of division? You are not protecting the Itoke. You are holding us back. You are the few, the hateful few, who stand in the way of a blessed nation. And His Excellency said, we must reject those who profit from fear. The sovereign path is the only path we should consider. Mr. Speaker, sir, the trajectory of Fiji's future hinges upon our fortitude to lead with ethical clarity. We must break this colonial hangover once and for all. We must be transparent about our constitution. We must be vigilant against the digital lies. We must remember the need for investment, partnerships, development, and testing everything before we claim victory. Mr. Speaker, sir, Fiji has been blessed with everything that we need to lead the Pacific. But we are being anchored by a small group of people who profit from our fear, and it is time to make our land work for us. It is time to grow up and realize that our true strength lies in working together as one Fijian people. The ocean of peace must start with our peace in our hearts, in unity and our purpose. We must look after our people first. May God bless Fiji and all Fijians. Mr. Speaker, sir, and I thank you for this opportunity.
I thank the Honorable Semi Correa-Bissau for his contribution to the motion. Honorable members, thank you. We will continue with the next speaker tomorrow morning. We will now move on to item 5 of our order paper. Secretary General.
Consideration of bills.
Honorable members, I have been advised that there are no bills for consideration today. Honorable members, that brings us to the end of today's sitting. I thank you all for your presence and your contribution to today's proceedings. Parliament stands adjourned to tomorrow at 9:30 a.m.